يا سادة أصحاب الرسول ودد مشايخنا الزور وما شاء الله فارسنا حسن شيخ محمد الرحمن طريقتنا الصحبة والخير في الجميع. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما آتاكم الرسول فخذوه وما نهاكم عنه فانتهوا صدق الله العظيم. Allah Azze ve Celle buyuruyor Peygamber Efendimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem size ne getirdiyse onu yapın.
Allah Almighty commands that whatever the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, brought to you and taught you, implement it and follow his example.
Getirdiği nedir? Emirler Allah.
And what is it that our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, brought? He brought the commands of Allah Almighty.
Gelen emirler neyse ona uyun.
Follow the commands of Allah Almighty that have been revealed through our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him.
Size neden yasak ettiyse, neyi istemediyse ondan uzak durun diyor.
Fulfill the commands of Allah Almighty that have been revealed through the beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and also stay away from all those things that have been forbidden.
Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem bunu ne için diyor? Çünkü insanlara fayda olarak diyor onu.
And why is this being said? Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, forwards us these commands of Allah Almighty for the benefit of humanity.
Zararları için değil, faydaları için.
This message, the commands of Allah Almighty, are to the benefit and to the advantage of humanity. They are not for the damage or for the detriment of people.
Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor bu şeyler. Emirler böyledir. O emre uyan her türlü hayra nail olur.
Those who follow the commands of Allah Almighty, which have been revealed through our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, will find goodness and blessings.
Hem Allah'ın rızasını kazanmış olur. Hem
Moreover, they will also obtain the satisfaction of Allah Almighty.
Sevap da kazanmış olur.
And they will be obtaining rewards.
Derecesi de yükselir.
And they will be increasing their ranks.
Dünya bakımından da hem vücuduna sıhhat afiyet olur.
They will help their physical beings and give strength to their bodies.
Hem kuvvet olur.
And it is through the fulfillment of the commands of Allah Almighty that your physical being will also find strength.
Çok şey var yasaklanmış.
And there are also many things which have been forbidden.
Günah haramdır. Ama
It is forbidden to commit a sin.
şimdiki insanlar onu o kadar anlamıyor.
These days, however, people no longer care about what is forbidden, what is a sin.
Bazı şeyler var, haramlar var. Onu tövbe edersin.
And there are certain actions, if you commit them and they are sins, you may ask Allah Almighty for forgiveness.
Yaparsın, Allah affeder.
And Allah Almighty will forgive you.
Gider. Bazıları da var. Yani onun günah olduğunu bilmeyen çoğu insan var.
And there are also many things where people are not even aware of that they are actually committing a sin.
O üstünde kalır bir türlü.
And there are these certain types of actions which you cannot get rid of, but you will get that mark on your being.
Gitmez.
And that mark of that sin can then no longer be removed.
Yani tövbe etsen tövbenin hadi kabul olur. Allah.
And even if you ask Allah Almighty for forgiveness and Allah Almighty will forgive you, certain sins will leave marks on you which you cannot erase.
Kabul etsin. Eder. Allah affeder her şeyi.
Allah Almighty, He is the most forgiving, and if you ask Him for forgiveness, He will be forgiving you.
Ama o nedir? Dövme. Dövme günahtır.
However, there are certain things that even if you ask Allah Almighty for forgiveness and that you are forgiven, you will still carry the mark of that sin on you. And for example, to get a tattoo is one of those things where you cannot erase it.
Dövme yaptırmak günahtır.
It is forbidden and it is haram to get a tattoo.
Şimdi gençler özeniyor, herkes yapıyor. Bu bir
These days, young people crave to get a tattoo, and everyone has a tattoo,
işte güzel bir şey zannediyor. Hem
and they think that to have a tattoo is something beautiful.
güzel de değil, hem çirkin bir şey olur insan.
To have a tattoo is not beautiful. It is ugly, and it makes a human ugly.
Üstüne vücuduna yapan hem zarardır.
And not only is it ugly to have a tattoo, but it also is harmful.
Bak, en büyük zarar günah olması. Allah
And the greatest harm from it, besides from the physical harm, is that it is harmful because it is considered a sin.
kendinden sonra onun tevbe
There could be no greater harm than committing something which is a sin in the sight of Allah Almighty.
edip affeder Allah Azze ve Celle, ama
We need to ask Allah Almighty for forgiveness, and Allah Almighty will forgive you.
işte ondan sonra insan vücudunda nereye koyduysa o şeyi orada hem hastalık olur hem
However, you cannot get rid of that mark of that sin. It will stay wherever you have put that tattoo on your body, and it will make and will infect that very place where the tattoo has been made.
bir türlü kurtulmaz ondan.
And there's no possibility for you to get rid of that tattoo once it's done.
Ölünce de şey yapar, beraber gider. Allah muhafaza etsin. Kıyamet günü de şey çıkmasın üstünde.
And if you die, that tattoo will go with you, and one can only pray to Allah Almighty that when one is resurrected, one no longer has that tattoo, but that would be the worst if you would even still then have the tattoo on the day of resurrection, when you are held accountable before Allah Almighty.
Ona dikkat etmek lazım. O yani şey değil, helal bir şey değil.
This is something we need to pay attention to, and that is something that must be taken seriously. It is not allowed to have a tattoo. It is a sin.
Günahsız bir şey değil. O günahtır.
To be very clear, to get a tattoo is a sin.
Demek günah olunca bir zararı var ki
And since it is a sin, it means there's harm in it.
men etmiş.
And because there's harm in it, Allah Almighty has forbidden it.
Bütün yani içkiyi, domuz etini, bilmem neyini falan onu
Everything that is forbidden, like drinking alcohol or eating pork or any other thing that has been forbidden,
şunu ne varsa onlar zarardır diye günahtır.
and the reason why those things are forbidden is because they are harmful.
Allah öyle evet, günahtır diye zararlıdır. İkisi de aynıdır.
And thus it is both. They are forbidden because they are harmful, and because they are harmful, they are forbidden.
Onun için dikkat etmek lazım.
And we need to pay attention to, and we need to avoid what is forbidden.
Bu şeye uzak durmak lazım.
And we must stay away from it
Her bakımdan
in every regard.
fayda olacak şey Peygamber Efendimizin yolundan gitmek, onun
What is good and what is a blessing and what is beneficial is to follow the example of our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him.
sünnetini takip etmek,
It is
onun
what is good is to follow the way of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
güzel yaptığı şeyleri yapmak.
What is good and beneficial is to do those things our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, did, and to emulate his conduct,
Yasak ettiklerinden uzak durmak.
and to stay away from what he has forbidden, peace be upon him.
Allah inşallah muvaffak eylesin.
May Allah Almighty make us become successful in following the example of our Prophet, peace be upon him,
Kandırılmasın.
and may people be protected from being cheated and fooled.
Nefsine kanıyor insan,
People are fooled by their egos,
arkadaşı kanıyor. Ona
they are fooled by their friends, or they are fooled by the people around them.
kanıyor, buna kanıyor. Her tarafta görünce
People are fooled by their environment, by what they experience and what is being done by the vast majority.
Ben de yapayım diyor.
And then when they see the vast majorities do something, they say, I will also do it.
Ondan sonra da bir türlü kurtulamıyor.
But then they commit a sin which they can no longer get rid of.
Allah şerlerden muhafaza etsin hepimiz.
May Allah Almighty protect us from all evil things,
Günahlardan muhafaza etsin.
and may Allah Almighty guard us and protect us from committing sins.
Daim onun yolunda olalım inşallah.
And may Allah make us be steadfast and consistent in following the way of Allah Almighty as taught by our Prophet, peace be upon him.
Amin Allah tevfik. El Fatiha.